Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for my top 10 comic books of the week. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and tonight we are going to be talking about my top 10 comic books of the week. First up, number 10, MODOK, Head Games, number 2. I love this book. It's so silly, it's so fun, but at the same time, it never betrays the character of MODOK. I love it. It's comic book accurate. It's got a lot of throwbacks. This issue is mostly a team-up between Tony Stark Iron Man and MODOK, and it is hilarious, but at the same time, just really, really fun. It's got a lot of action, lots of comedy, and it just hits those right notes for me. Like I said, lots of old school type stuff. I'll show you a little bit of the art. But I really like the art style. It really helps, along with the whole zany approach of the story. I'm loving this. I thought it was super, super cool. You get an appearance by the Silver Centurion armor. MODOK Head Games, number 2 at number 10. So there you go. At number 9, we've got Dark Knight's Death Metal, number 7. This is the final issue of Death Metal. First of all, love that cover. I love anything that's shiny and glossy and hollow foil. Can we get some hollow foil back in our lives, please? Anyway, Death Metal to me was a great, fantastic, bombastic finale to this really utterly ridiculous, nonsensical, and utterly amazing and awesome and BA miniseries. I absolutely love it. If you like crisis events, if you like DC multiverse shakeups, if you like all of that cosmic craziness, which I do, this was your book, and I loved it. I went along for the ride. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo were both having an incredibly great time making this book. You can totally tell Death Metal totally sets up a really great some great possibilities for the future of DC, leading into some of the stuff we'll be talking about in this top 10 video. But I thought it was a great finale, big, bombastic, giant battles, and the character notes and an arc of Wonder Woman in here, and what Wonder Woman represents, which is truth, and the idea that all the stories matter. And then the antithesis of that being the Darkest Night, the Batman Manhattan Who Laughs, which just represents nothing, utter nihilism, right? I love it. I thought they did such a great job with this finale. That's like Rockin Robbie fanboy type stuff. That's the comic book. Those are the type of comic books I loved reading growing up and still love today. So that was number 9, Dark Knight's Death Metal. At number 8, Future State. Hey, Wonder Woman. I really like this. Introduction of a new character, Yara Flor. You get a little bit of her in Death Metal there. I really like this. Joelle Jones. I didn't show you any artwork from... I'm going to have to start showing more artwork. Anyway, Joelle Jones' artwork here is crisp. It is clean. The layouts are great. It's got an excellent sense of pace. It's an interesting character. She's got a completely different attitude from Diana. This is set a little bit in the future. I had a lot of fun with this. And one of the things I said in the weekly comic book review was that Future State felt energized. It felt like these creators had some really great ideas, maybe even bold at times, and they just wanted to go with it, and they're having a lot of fun, and it feels fresh. And this is what Wonder Woman felt like to me. Joelle Jones feels like this is just top-level performance for her right now in her career. The writing is sharp, the dialogue is snappy, and the artwork is so freaking clean. I loved it. So at number 8, that was Future State, Wonder Woman. At number 7, Thor. I should have put it at number 4, right? At number 7, we got Thor number 11. I'm really, really liking Donny Cates' Thor. I think it was Marvel's best comic book of the year, of 2020. The artwork by Nick Klein has gotten better and better and better. And Donny Cates is able to take some fun ideas, and that's what he does, like bar talk, comic book bar talk that somebody would have, right? This is the type of ideas that you would come up with, is the kind of thing like, what if Donald Blake just went batshit insane and was crazy and evil, right? And just wreaked havoc on the earth while Thor was trapped in this pocket dimension. That's what's going on right now, and it feels so exciting. It's so connected to what's come before, but different. And like, it's got this like rock and roll type vibe to it that you get in a lot of Donny Cates books. Donny Cates had some really great books this week. Thor, making it on the list at number 7. At number 6, Future State, Harley Quinn. This was like my biggest shocker of the week, was how much I loved this Harley Quinn book. So I already like Stephanie Phillips' work a little bit, but I'm really liking A Man Among You. So I was excited to see what she was going to bring to the character. This is not, and it's very obviously known out there, not one of my favorite characters in comics. But I really like this issue. So it's set in the future state Batman world in which Gotham is, all of the laws are enforced by the magistrate. There's no more GCPD. It's the magistrate, privatized corporate law enforcement, I guess. The artwork in here, by the way, by DeMeo is absolutely fantastic. With Bonvillain's coloring, it pops. DeMeo's artwork, for me, on We Only Find Them When They're Dead, is just a bit too murky and dark. But here with Bonvillain's talents, oh my goodness, it's popping like crazy. So I love the artwork. Just this futuristic Gotham. It's only 5 years from now. But the magistrate, they've outlawed masks and vigilantes. If you get caught wearing a mask, they shoot you on sight. So it's a really intense world. And the magistrate gets Harley Quinn to join up with them to help them track down other criminals and vigilantes. But this was a really fun book with a high level of energy that was absolutely fantastic. 6, Future State. Harley Quinn. At number 5, we've got The Next Batman. Wait. Did I do that right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yeah. At number 5, The Next Batman. I really like this one. Future State Next Batman. Unfortunately, it's $7.99 because it's got 3 stories. Now, the main story, which is the Next Batman story, is fantastic. The artwork by Nick Darrington, I just love. And the coloring by Tamara Bonvillain. Oh my goodness. Go figure that some of the best art in DC Comics this week was colored by Tamara Bonvillain. So I really liked this story. It's got a great pace to it. It's written by John Ridley. It's a brand new version of Batman set in that world with the magistrate that we talked about. He's badass, and I believe it already. We already know who it is, even though in this book they pretend to not know who. They pretend like we don't know who it is, so I don't know if I should say, but we all know who it is. But I had a lot of fun with this book. Then there's the Outsider story, and it's okay. It was pretty solid, actually. I liked it. Katana, Black Lightning, Duke Thomas type stuff, but set in this futuristic, well, it's 5 years later, but it got really cyberpunk. The colors pop. It's so much, there's energy, there's life. That's something that has been brought out post-death metal into DC was life. We were so fearful of 5G, and what it wound up merging and becoming after Dan DiDio got canned was this really, I would say, hopeful look, even though some of the books are not very hopeful at all. It gives me hope for DC Comics because it seemed like at times they were maybe going the wrong path, but they've got some talent right now that just feels incredibly enthusiastic. The last story in here, Arkham Knights, which was written by Paul Jenkins, I didn't like that one. So is it worth the $7.99? I don't know. I would definitely want to say recommend getting the trade, which should be cheaper if it's just that. But I have a feeling they're going to put those backups in the trade as well. So I figure either way, you're screwed. So that was number 5, The Next Batman. Number 4, Scout's Honor. Scout's Honor is from Aftershock. It's a new one from David Pepose. He was the writer of Spencer and Locke, also the writer of Going to the Chapel. I am a big fan of his work. We had him on the show. He's a super cool dude. The artwork is by Luca Casalonguida. Something like that. This is the same artist who did Lost Soldiers recently with Alesh Kott. That just wrapped up like last week. The style of art is different, but it still has so much dynamic flair to it. It's a different tone, which is way more appropriate for this book, which is like a post-apocalyptic world, and society has rebuilt itself around the Boy Scouts manual, right? So it's this like hyper-survivalist, ultra-masculine reality that's kind of crazy with a little bit of like Lord of the Flies thrown in or something. I don't know. I really, really like this book. I thought it was a great concept, and David Pepose does a great job of nailing that concept, enticing us through the issue with the main character's journey, and it's absolutely fantastic, and it's hooking, and it's great, and it sets up some interesting stuff to come, and I'm really excited to see this world explored. That was absolutely fantastic. Number 4, Scout's Honor. At number 3, Future State, Swamp Thing. This one's written by Ram V. It's got artwork by Mike Perkins. And let me tell you something. If you like Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, and if you like the Scott Snyder Swamp Thing, which I do, and if you like Swamp Thing, I don't think there's any reason why you won't like this one. Now, this one's set in a future state very far away. I think it's like set 1,000 or more years in the future. Something terrible has happened, wiped out most of mankind. Swamp Thing's alone, but he's created these like these vegetable people, you could say, basically that live, and he's kind of like their king and leader, and they're out on the hunt for humans. But it leads to a lot of interesting conversations about why are humans so important when we are building a new society, and Swamp Thing's trying to reconnect to something that he feels he's lost. And Rom V just does a great job with this. Mike Perkins' artwork is great. This respects everything that's come before. It's got a little tinge of Alan Moore, but it's all Rom V. The subtext is there. The dialogue is so melancholical at times. It will hurt your soul. It is perfect for Swamp Thing. I freaking love that. Number 3, Future State Swamp Thing. At number 2, Crossover number 3. This book blew me away. I thought issue 1 was pretty solid. I thought 2 was just a little bit of a dip. Issue 3 was explosively awesome. Now, maybe most of my reaction is based on what happens on the last page of Crossover, but I'll tell you this. If you get to that and you know me, you know I flipped my lid for that. I absolutely loved it. I love this Todd McFarlane cover. Donny Cates really starts, now that he's spent so long in issue 2 especially, of establishing more of the characters and their future motivations, if you will. Now we're getting to it. The characters are moving briskly to the next place to be ready for the next act of the story. Everything's really starting to happen. The crossovers start for real. Some really great stuff, some throwbacks to some previous Donny Cates work. And like I said, a wham bang finish that I absolutely love. Took me by complete surprise because I knew we'd even talked at one point on this channel live that this was a possibility. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then the way that they did it, the reveal, was absolutely fantastic. This makes me feel the joy Donny Cates had being a fan of comics and a creator of comics. And Jeff Shaw's artwork's getting sharper and cleaner and leaner and meaner. In other words, that rhyme with Eaner. Anyway, and my number 1 book was The Dreaming Waking Hours, issue number 6. This one blew me away. I didn't show you artwork from Crossover. Show you a little bit here, but the artwork gets a lot leaner and I think a little bit more solidified. And like I said, the story really, really picks up, and it's got a slam bang of a finale that I absolutely loved, cherished, and adored. So there you go. So number 1 was The Dreaming Waking Hours. First of all, The Dreaming has been a great series since the Sandman Universe stuff kind of relaunched at the tail end of Vertigo, the beginning of DC Black Label. This was great. First of all, look at the cover. G. Willow Wilson's been doing a great job following up what Simon Spurrier did by telling a completely different story. And now that she's completed her first arc, she gets to do a little bit of an intermission type story that focuses on some other elements and characters that were established in the previous arc. Really, really like this one. But the main pull and the main reason why it's the pick of the week for me is Javier Rodriguez's artwork. Oh my goodness. And he colored it himself as well. I have always loved this cat's artwork. He did an Exile series not too long ago at Marvel with Saladin Ahmed. He did that History of the Marvel Universe book with Mark Waid. If you love these elegant and masterful and bold panel designs and compositions on the page and beautiful color at times, look at that, the club scene. Oh my goodness. I loved the art in this. I loved the story. It has Constantine in it. It throws it around. I think that this has been a great book. It's been undersung, underappreciated. I think it just was recently announced that it's going to 12 issues and then it will wrap up. But there's been a great story and a great thread with a lot of respect for what Neil Gaiman has built for the Sandman universe and The Dreaming. So that is my top 10 comic books of the week. Let's run through them again. Number 10, MODOK, Head Games. Head Games, number 2. Number 9, Dark Knight's Death Metal, number 7, final issue. Number 8, Future State, Wonder Woman, number 1. Number 7, Thor, number 11. I like that rhymes. Thor, number 7, Thor, number 11. It does rhyme, actually. Number 6, Future State, Harley Quinn. Number 5, Future State, The Next Batman. Number 4, Scout's Honor. Number 1. Number 3, Future State, Swamp Thing. Number 2, Crossover. Number 3, and my number 1 comic book of the week, The Dreaming, Waking Hours, number 6. There you go. That was my top 10 comic books of the week. Let me know your top 10, your top 5, your top whatever, down in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Station. Keep on reading.